Vox keeps pushing forward with his smear campaign against Charlie. Meanwhile, Alastor, tired of living with his soul chained to Rosie and being treated like her little plaything, makes a radical decision, one that could forever change the balance of hell. The episode picks up right after Charlie receives the shocking news from heaven. Panicked but thrilled, she rushes to the main lobby where everyone's gathered and excitedly tells them what Emily just told her.
Hey, it's me, Emily. Heaven is closing down because you killed a bunch of angels and everyone's scared, but don't worry. Oh yeah, and also Sir Pentious is here in heaven.
Vaggie tries to calm her down, telling her to take a deep breath. Charlie does, inhaling enough to finish sharing Emily's incredible message. The moment that really blows everyone's mind is when they find out Sir Pentious is in heaven. That can only mean one thing: the hotel actually works. Charlie can barely contain her excitement. She achieved what everyone thought was impossible. Redemption is real. Beaming, she points to some of her friends and runs off, overjoyed that her dream is finally working.
I thought Charlie said no more drugs.
Vaggie follows her, still uncertain. She's not entirely sure those were Emily's exact words, but Charlie's so full of confidence that she can't wait another second to tell her father the amazing news. It's understandable. Vaggie needs a moment to process everything. After all, everything they've worked so hard for is finally paying off. But not everything is sunshine and rainbows. Through the window, Charlie notices something disturbing. Yellow press propaganda painting her as a dictator, displayed across a massive airship ad. She doesn't want her image or the hotels to be dragged through the mud, so she decides to reach out to Voxtech, asking them to take down the slanderous ad. In exchange, she offers something everyone craves: an exclusive interview. That way she could talk publicly about the hotel's progress and prove her project actually works. Vaggie supports her wanting to clear her name but can't shake off her concern. The topic of Heaven's Gates closing is extremely delicate, and she fears that if that really happens, all of Charlie's work could be for nothing, or worse, that the exterminations might continue. Charlie, however, stays optimistic. She believes that once she gives the interview, more sinners will be inspired to come to the hotel, helping her achieve the impossible, redeem souls on a massive scale, and send them to heaven. Vaggie pleads with her to think it through. She doesn't trust Voxtech or their motives, but Charlie, determined and full of hope, ignores the warnings and sends the email anyway. Vox can't believe it when he finds out. Charlie wants to give an interview. With a mocking grin, he turns to Velvet, and the two burst out laughing. For them, this is perfect. The plot twist they've been waiting for. The perfect chance to expose her, or worse, twist her words against her. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, everyone's arguing about Pentious. Is he really in heaven? Cherry's the most skeptical. She can't buy it. Angel, on the other hand, believes it's true. He says deep down, Pentious was always a soft-hearted guy, and after all his apologies and tears, maybe heaven finally decided to give him a shot.
Oh, them's fucking words, kitty.
Choke.
I'd love to.
Husk agrees. Out of everyone in the hotel, Pentious was probably the only one who genuinely had a chance at redemption. He even jokes that if things keep going like this, Angel might be next in line. For the first time, Cherry goes quiet. Maybe she misjudged Pentious. She never really got to know him, and now his sacrifice keeps replaying in her head, that brave, touching moment she can't stop thinking about. Then Husk gets an idea. He suggests she go talk to Baxter, who worked with Pentious. If anyone truly knows him better than anyone else, it's definitely Baxter. It doesn't take long before Vox and Velvet show up at the hotel. The instant Alastor spots them, he vanishes. There's no way he's sticking around to face his #1 enemy. Vox puts on his nicest fake smile and congratulates Charlie on her success, but it doesn't take long before that usual poison slips out, hidden behind polite words. With Velvet at his side, he starts mocking the place, criticizing the Hazbin Hotel's tragic interior design and its terrible taste in decor. Charlie tries to keep things civil, but Vox doesn't give her a moment to breathe. Without warning, he starts recording and takes control of the whole conversation, throwing out uncomfortable questions. He demands to know what her plans are for the next extermination. Does she intend to protect all demons, or just her favorites? Velvet jumps in with an even nastier question, hinting that both Charlie and her father secretly hate 98% of all sinners. Fed up, Charlie cuts them off. She makes it clear that the interview was nothing more than a trap to lure them to the hotel and to reveal something big. Sir Pentious has been redeemed. Vox looks intrigued for a moment, but quickly grows doubtful. The story catches his interest, but there's one problem. Charlie has no proof. Pentious is in heaven, and with the gates closed, there's no way to confirm it. Vox loses interest fast. He tells her that without evidence, the story's worthless, and he's not about to broadcast a rumor. But Charlie, confident as ever, looks him straight in the eyes and declares that if they want proof, she'll give it to them. She promises to show live and in full color how a sinner can truly redeem themselves right before their eyes. Later that day, Baxter is busy in his lab working on experiments for Vox Tech. He's not doing anything shady or betraying the hotel. He's just being his usual self, a curious, slightly obsessive scientist. But Cherry couldn't care less about that. She storms into the lab without hesitation, dead set on one thing, learning more about Sir Pentious. At first, Baxter refuses to say a word, but when Cherry pulls out one of her bombs and threatens to blow the entire lab sky high, he quickly changes his mind. With a heavy sigh, he gives in and starts talking. He reveals that he and Pentious used to work together back in the day. Baxter focused on bioengineering, while Pentious specialized in mechanical inventions. Both were chasing fame, but Baxter was always seen as the genius of the two. Over time, Pentious grew tired of the cruelty behind their experiments and the violence of their creations. He wanted out, and he walked away. For one simple reason, a woman. That woman was Cherry. Stunned, Cherry stands there in silence for a few seconds. Then, true to her style, she throws the bomb anyway before walking out of the lab. Meanwhile, up in heaven, Pentious feels lonely. He misses Cherry far more than he ever expected. The chaos, the danger, the wild moments, they all bound them together. And down in hell, Cherry finally admits it to herself, she misses him too. Hours later, Vaggie finds out that Charlie invited Vox himself to the hotel, and she completely loses it. She thought it was just a harmless interview with one of Vox Tech's reporters, not the CEO of the whole damn company. Angel is furious too. Vox is Valentino's business partner, and that's a red flag if there ever was one. Charlie tries to calm everyone down, assuring them that Vox won't air anything fake, that it'll just be a short, simple feature as long as they can record the redemption of a sinner. And she already has someone in mind, Angel Dust. She's convinced he's on the verge of redemption, and she wants to prove it to all of hell live on camera. Husk, ever the quiet observer, knows she might be right. If anyone has a shot at redemption after Pentious, it's Angel. The problem is that no one really knows how to make it happen, but now that they've proven the hotel actually works, there's just one thing left, to figure out the final step to make it real. Even though Vox mocks the idea of Angel being the next to be redeemed, he can't help feeling curious. He orders the cameras to be ready. If it actually happens, it'll be a show worth broadcasting. Charlie, bursting with excitement, starts explaining the steps to redemption. Step 1, admit you need help. Step 2, give up alcohol. Step 3, regain your dignity. Step 4, feed the needy. And so on.
Step 4, feed the poor.
Hey, ain't you that fancy whore?
She keeps inventing new steps on the spot, hoping that somewhere along the way, Angel might truly find redemption. For the grand finale of this redemption program, Charlie plans a heroic reenactment where Angel must save a woman tied to the train tracks, a role ironically played by Husk. The whole thing is so ridiculous that Angel refuses to keep going, but then things spiral out of control. The train that was supposed to stop doesn't. Vox had sabotaged the cables. In a heartbeat, the mock scene turns into a real emergency. Husk is in danger. Without thinking twice, Angel jumps onto the tracks to save him, but the train is coming too fast. Just before disaster strikes, Vaggie rushes in and manages to pull them both to safety. The chaos leaves everyone furious. Husk yells at Angel for risking his life, while Angel tries to hide how much he actually cares. Neither will admit it, but deep down, they both truly worried about each other. After the incident, Vaggie tries to talk some sense into Charlie. She can't force Angel's redemption by repeating what she did with Pentious. Every sinner has their own path. That's when Charlie realizes something crucial to be redeemed. A soul must face its own sin. But Angel refuses. He doesn't want to talk about it, much less confess what sent him to hell in the first place. Then in the middle of that tense silence, Vox, cold and heartless, reveals it for everyone to hear. He killed his father. The impact is devastating. Angel freezes in shock while Charlie, furious over the public humiliation, throws Vox and Velvet out of the hotel. Before leaving, Vox mockingly asks if even he could be redeemed. Charlie looks him in the eye and says, "Anyone can." Angel, wounded and ashamed, shuts everyone out, especially Charlie. Outside the hotel, Vox celebrates. His plan worked perfectly. Using the footage recorded during the chaos, he launches a smear campaign against Charlie and the Hazbin Hotel, twisting the scenes to make her look like a fool. And yet, despite all the damage, Angel decides to stay. So does Cherry, because both of them know that even if the road to redemption is painful, it's still worth taking. The next morning, Charlie wakes up with one goal in mind: to clear her name and expose Vox's lies. She's determined to go live and tell the truth to everyone, and her best or worst idea yet. Doing it alongside Nifty, her top choice, Charlie's enthusiasm clashes hilariously with Nifty's chaotic energy, but nothing's going to stop her. Meanwhile, Alastor finally gets more screen time. He arrives with Lucifer, though their conversation is anything but friendly. Some of Lucifer's words cut deep, especially when he reminds Alastor how he was defeated and how he ran away, leaving Charlie behind after the battle. Later, Charlie gets ready for her interview. She's nervous but hopeful that honesty will fix everything. That hope vanishes the moment she sees who's hosting: Katie Killjoy, the sharpest tongue in hell. The broadcast begins, and while Charlie tries to explain that everything was staged, Katie keeps interrupting, twisting every word and making her look like a liar. Elsewhere, Alastor appears before Rosie, dressed to perfection as always. He's there to tell her that after nearly a year of helping Charlie, he's decided to quit the hotel. Rosie listens with amusement, laughing as she reminds him how absurd his ambitions were. He joined the Hazbin Hotel under the promise of being Hell's most powerful demon, something he never achieved after being wounded by an archangel during the war. Even so, Rosie admits that within Hell, Alastor is still the most powerful demon of them all, and that's when she finally reveals his story. In life, Alastor was a charming young man, the voice of New Orleans, famous for his radio talent and magnetic personality. But behind that perfect facade hid a monster. His soul had been rotten long before he died. He was quite literally a demon wearing human skin. Once he realized his doomed fate, he made a deal. He asked for power in Hell in exchange for a debt he'd have to repay later. His soul would be held in custody until the payment was made. But fate played a cruel joke. The very next day, while in the woods with one of his victims, a hunter mistook him for a deer and shot him dead. His descent into Hell came sooner than expected. Rosie mocks him openly, but Alastor doesn't listen anymore. All he wants is power. The power he's never truly had, even after pretending to be an ally at the Hazbin Hotel. With a sly grin, Rosie reminds him that his soul still belongs to her. Until he pays his debt, he's nothing more than her pet. The humiliation burns inside him, but he doesn't show it. Beneath that eternal grin, something dark stirs, a dangerous idea. Meanwhile, back at the studio, Charlie's interview goes from bad to worse. Katie twists every attempt at clarification into an attack, distorting Charlie's words and dragging both her and the Hazbin Hotel even deeper into disgrace. What was supposed to be her public redemption turns into yet another downfall. Desperate, Charlie asks Nifty to speak on behalf of the hotel, but the moment she sees the cameras, she freezes completely. Trying to calm her down, Charlie nervously smiles and tells her they're not cameras, they're cockroaches. Somehow, that works. Unfortunately, if the hotel's reputation was already in shambles, Nifty finishes the job. On live TV, she blurts out that the place is crawling with rats, filthy, and that she's the one who has to clean it up. Every word she says is another nail in the Hazbin Hotel's coffin. Meanwhile, Alastor appears elsewhere in Hell with one goal: to provoke Vox. He wants a rematch, a second chance to fight him. But this time, Vox isn't alone. Valentino and Velvet join the battle. Even so, Alastor shows why he's feared as the most powerful demon in Hell, holding his own against all three, and at times even overpowering them. Nifty sees the fight on TV and panics. She runs to find Husk, convinced they have to help. Together, they rush to the battlefield. By the time they arrive, Alastor is barely standing. He can't keep up with all three, and his defeat seems inevitable until Husk and Nifty jump in. The fight grows more intense, but the tide turns once again. Velvet overpowers Husk, and Valentino crushes Nifty. That's when Alastor finds the perfect moment to put his plan into motion. He offers Vox a deal, his soul in exchange for two simple requests. The first, spare his friends. The second, and most important, never lay a hand on Charlie. Vox doesn't hesitate. With a wicked grin, he accepts chaining Alastor's soul and making it his own. The mighty radio demon has fallen. Vox wastes no time flaunting his victory. He organizes a grand parade to show all of hell that he now owns the infamous Alastor. He parades him on news broadcasts, in bars, even humiliates him publicly during his parties with Valentino. And yet, there's something Vox can't comprehend. What's so special about Charlie and her hotel that Alastor would sacrifice himself for them? He demands an answer, but Alastor stays silent, his eerie grin never faltering. Annoyed, Vox brings up the past. He asks how a 1930s demon like him ever gained so much power. Alastor stares him down and reminds him of those early days, when Vox admired him, when they were equals. Back then, Vox saw him as an idol, a mentor, someone to emulate. Young and ambitious, Vox once proposed they become partners and rule hell together, but Alastor found him pathetic and laughed in his face. That humiliation was the spark that ignited their eternal rivalry. And though Vox may have captured him this time, he knows one thing for sure. Alastor is not the kind of demon who stays chained for long. For now, though, the radio demon is under his control. And so this double episode ends with Charlie disgraced, the hotel in ruins, and Alastor imprisoned, yet still smiling, as if to say that even in defeat, his game has only just begun.